We are eagerly awaiting for the Iowa Republican caucuses to kick off tonight. It is the first opportunity for Americans to really weigh in on the 2024 race, how they're feeling. Perhaps one of the most impactful elections in modern history, too. President Trump is the front runner, but Nikki Haley's recent surge in the Hawkeye state could catapult her momentum into New Hampshire, also South Carolina. Our Leland Vittert is on the ground in Iowa this morning. He asked Haley what a 2024 ticket could look like if she pulls off an upset for the nomination.
We'll look really far forward. If you're the nominee, would you ask Donald Trump to be your VP?
Well, I'm not going to think about who's going to be my VP yet, but in 6 months, I'll be happy to tell you who it's going to be.
You'll be happy to have a conversation?
That would be interesting. Leland, you always can ask something to make people smile or think. Live in Des Moines for us, thanks so much for being there. Of course, we have that special coverage tonight in Iowa. So what was your impression of Haley this close to the caucus?
It's very impressive what she's been able to do. We talk about momentum, you talk about peaking. All of those things are happening at the right time for Nikki Haley. She's spending an awful lot of time in the suburbs around Des Moines. That is more of the professional class, the suburban Republicans. Someone would call them in past times, establishment Republicans. That's not who's going to decide this caucus unless they turn out in massive numbers. It's going to be decided by rural, conservative, working class Republicans. And they overwhelmingly support Donald Trump with some move towards Ron DeSantis. So this is about a split in the Republican Party. And we're going to figure out, obviously, that Donald Trump controls the Republican Party because he will win. But if there is a lane for another voice in the Republican Party, and I talked to Haley about that pulling in the professional class of Republicans is enough for second place. It's not enough to win in, say, South Carolina. Maybe enough to win in New Hampshire, but not enough to win in South Carolina, and what her plans are for that.
Okay, so you've been referencing Haley's big mo, the momentum, but the latest polls do show her supporters are not overly enthusiastic, especially when compared to Donald Trump supporters. Half of her supporters in the latest Des Moines Register poll are independents and Democrats. So is Iowa really the litmus test to see if these polls are true, or will it show that they maybe are a little off because she's going to lose some of that steam?
Yeah. It's a great question. And look, if all of a sudden we're talking tomorrow morning and Ron DeSantis is in the 30s, the pollsters are going to need to issue some refunds. And that's always possible. You always have to leave out that possibility of some crazy thing that no one has picked up on. For Nikki Haley, and I asked her about that, I said, do you welcome this conversation about Democrats and independents switching over? And she said yes. She said, I'm running, and she alluded to this, I'm running a general election campaign today. I'm making the same speeches I will make today that I would make in September or October, and that's why I beat Joe Biden by 17 points. That electability argument is not necessarily working with Republican voters. We talked to Republican voters about that. Those who like Donald Trump. It's very difficult to see that changing.
Yeah. And in terms of Ron DeSantis, there are some already counting him out, saying he's not second anymore. It is for certain Nikki Haley. Is that determination, when they've both been so neck and neck for months now, is that premature?
Well, you might say the beginning of the end for Ron DeSantis came a long time ago. Tonight is make or break for him, right? Win or go home. And by win, I mean second. So never before have journalists cared so much about who comes in second, the first place loser. But if Ron DeSantis comes in third, it's very difficult to understand the purpose or the argument for his campaign going forward through New Hampshire and into South Carolina. And then there's a big money question for him about whether his campaign actually has the money and the ability to raise money at that point. So Ron DeSantis has staked a lot on Iowa in the evangelical vote here. The problem for Ron DeSantis is that he's going after the very same voters that Donald Trump does. The overlap is about 95%. It's very difficult, as Coca-Cola figured out. New Coke didn't really do well. People liked Coca-Cola. And for lack of a better analogy, Ron DeSantis is kind of the new Coke of the Republican Party, or of Donald Trump.
Well, and a lot of people have said he's too green, even with all of his success in Florida. Wait another term, and maybe your time will come. But you mentioned something in your previous comments. I just want to get back on that. You said a lot of journalists, it's maybe the first time journalists care so much about second place. I'm sure there are a lot of people at home wondering, who the heck cares about second place? They're not going to be the nominee. Why should we care? Why so much focus?
Look, it's a great question. And if we were sitting here in 2016, we would have said Hillary Clinton was going to be the president. We would have said that Donald Trump was not going to be the nominee. In 2008, we would have said Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. A guy named Barack Obama won Iowa and then was off to the races. So it does matter. And unusual things happen. I think what the test is here is for all the discussion about whether there will be a real primary fight.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.